Well, we'll stick with the lighter side of light and go to a comedian whose material tackles that question of what it means to try to belong when you always feel you're the odd one out. Toussaint Douglas is a TV comedy scriptwriter here in Britain whose first stand-up show, Accessible Pigeon Material, has been receiving rave reviews. The show is inspired by his grandmother's migration to Britain from the Dominica as part of what's called the Windrush generation, the wave of Caribbean migrants who came to the UK after the Second World War. Our reporter Charlene Rodriguez caught up with Toussaint Douglas at a performance of his show in central London earlier this month.
I like pigeons because they're a proper working class bird. Don't believe me? I can prove it. Every pigeon looks knackered.
I'm inside Soho Theatre, a heartbeat of counterculture for international artists since the 1950s. Performing tonight is Toussaint Douglas with roots in the Caribbean. He brings us Accessible Pigeon Material, a show as unique as its title.
Give me a cheer if you're here because you've seen me before. Good, that's how I like it. The PR's working a treat, baby.
I started by asking Toussaint, what's this show all about?
The show is called Accessible Pigeon Material. It's about life, love, loss, love again, woo, and pigeons.
Why pigeons and not ducks or flamingos, for example?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Okay, this is the kind of questioning that I expect from the BBC World Service. This is good journalism. Why not ducks? Ducks are kind of the Coldplay of the bird world. They're just a little bit overdone, I think. Flamingos, I do think they are a little bit too extroverted for my sensibilities. They're kind of a bit like the guy at the house party that won't stop talking about their idea for an app. You know, it's just a little bit too much. So there's only one bird that I want to talk about, and that's pigeons. I think they're just completely underrated. They're underappreciated. They're overlooked. And it's about time we change that.
Underrated, underappreciated, overlooked. And you draw a connection to the Windrush community where you say your nan comes from. What is this connection and why is it important?
Firstly, there's a real personal. There are parallels mainly in terms of how both have been received in this country. Both have not maybe the most welcomed, perhaps changed for both as well. Taking kind of pigeons, for example, the fortunes of both kind of pigeons and the Windrush is quite interesting. They're almost perhaps a bit mirror opposite. Boggles my mind that it kind of is not well known, but 200,000 British pigeons served in World War II. Pigeons contributed a great deal to the war effort, and then that faded, and then that they became more seen as a pest. And the parallel, I guess, with the Windrush community is that, again, I think over about something like 16,000 people from the Caribbean volunteered for the war effort, and these people came over here not for a handout but to work. You know, you can see it, they're off the boat, they're just dressed to the nines, they're in their suits, they're ready for work.
Well, believe me, I am speaking broad-mindedly. I am glad to know my mother country. I've been traveling to countries years ago, but this is the place I wanted to know. London, that's the place for me.
One of those people was my nan. She grew up in a small fishing village, a small Caribbean island called Dominica, and she travelled however many miles it was, 2 weeks, talk about the ship that she went on as a very young person to this place that she'd never seen before. There was no Google. She did that, and I think that's an incredible act for someone to do.
There you go, a patron of pigeons. That was Toussaint Douglas speaking to our reporter, Charlene Rodriguez. Stay with us. We've got lots more news and much more coming up on Newshour.